what's going on? It is Jax here back in another video, and today we are going to be doing a tier list. So this is something I haven't done before, but a lot of creators have been doing it. Examples being like Clash with Shane, Morton, Master Duty-san. They're all good, or not all good friends of mine, but they're all creators that I really enjoy to watch, and they've been doing a bunch of tier lists recently. And so I wanted to hop on the bandwagon and do one myself. So we'll be going through all the cards here except the Goblin Drill. The Goblin Drill has not been put on this tier list. However, it would definitely be an S. Like, it'd be the best. It's literally the best card in the game right now. It is literally put like all the counters to it in the meta, and is still the best card you can use. It is absolutely insanely broken. So that's gonna be Goblin Drill. You all know where that's gonna be. So the next card is Archers here. So I don't have any stats open right now, but I'm pretty sure Archers are just average right now. They die to arrows and stuff, so they are pretty limited, and they don't do an incredibly great job against Goblin Drill. Expo is not in the great state, but they still can provide a lot of value and get you good trades pretty much always. So I'm going to put them in the B tier. The next card is going to be E-Barbs. So E-Barbs, I'm going to put in the A tier. I don't think they're broken anymore because with so many splashers and Tesla cycle decks going around because of the Goblin Drill, the E-Barbs are not really as powerful as they were last meta, but they are still very, very powerful. And they can still just absolutely destroy pushes, and they're the beatdown's nemesis here. So the next card we have is Baby Dragon. I'm also going to put it in A tier. I think it's just very versatile card. It gets you a ton of value. It's got that splash damage. And it is just really, it's like a solid card. There's literally no other thing to it. It's going to get you value almost all the times. And it is just it's just a great card in general. So next card we have is Bandit. I'm going to put this above Archers. I think the Bandit is, here, I'm trying to switch it. There we go. I think the Bandit is better than the Archers right now by a good amount. She's almost an A tier, but I don't think she's quite an A tier, as she only has like spots in like bridge spam decks. She's definitely a very, very high B tier though. Considering she does really well in all those bridge spam decks. She's just a key part of that. So the next card I'm going to put is Barbarian Hut. And I think Barbarian Hut is in D tier. It is just outshone by every other building. I will raise this slightly there, and we'll put below average. I think the Barbarian Hut is a high D tier. I think it's almost below average, but it's pretty garbage at the moment. Barbarians, I think Barbarians are going to be below Archers in average. I think they are good cards that can get you some value, but they are weak to all the splash going around. Actually, you know what? Maybe let's put it at, no, I'm going to keep it there. I think they're really valuable on defense, but they are weak to all the splash and the Goblin Drill going around. Next card is Barbarian Barrel. Definitely an above average card. 2 elixir spell, really valuable, applies some great pressure. It's good on defense. And I think that, yeah, it's just a very solid card. It's definitely above average, nothing really more though. I think I'm going to put it above the Baby Dragon, but I don't think it is better than the E-Barbs. So the next card I have is Bats. Those are just basically average. They're getting some value in the meta, but they aren't very good because they just die really easily to drill decks. E-Spirit also has a very nice counter against them. So the next card I have is the Battle Healer. That's going to be in some garbage D tier all the way down there. She is really bad right now. She's worse than the Barbarian Hut, I would go on a limb to say. Only fits an E-Golem, and E-Golem is in a horrific spot in the meta. Definitely a D tier card. Next is Battle Ram. I think Battle Ram is definitely below average now. With the addition of the drill, it's literally just outshone in every single regard by the drill. And even Pekka decks are using Ram Rider or Goblin Drill instead, or just not even using Pekka anymore. It's definitely has like very, very little spot in the meta except in maybe those niche bridge spam decks. Nothing else though. Definitely in below average, but not some garbage. It's still valuable. So next card I have is Dark Goblin. I think Dark Goblin here, I think he's better than Barbarians. He's going to be an average here. He's very valuable. He can get a lot of value, especially against like graveyards, but then again, graveyard is not very popular. So, yeah, he's just a good card in general. Nothing too special about him, though. Bomber is definitely going to be a high A tier. I don't think it's overly busted, but it's definitely high A tier, almost S tier. And same with the Dark Prince. Both of these cards are just because of the Goblin Drill. The Goblin Drill literally rose them from the dead, except the Bomber was already good, but it rose the Dark Prince from the dead, and now the Dark Prince is one of the best cards in the game. I wouldn't go and put it all the way in absolutely busted. He's just very valuable because he's a great counter to the card. So Bomb Tower I'm going to put below average. Death Bomb just absolutely not useful anymore. It's not a very useful building as well. Just definitely a below average. Bowler I'm going to put in I think it's underrated. I think the bowler is an A tier, not a high A tier, but he's definitely an A tier because he counters all the drill decks, and he's a part of decks that are doing really well, like Lumberloon and Graveyard Freeze. Even though there's Mother Witch, the Graveyard Freeze deck is still doing pretty well. I think he's definitely an A tier and underrated inside the game. So next card is Pump. I'm gonna put this in low C tier. I think it gets some value. It's actually useful in Golem and in Three Musketeers, but the Golem variations with it aren't very popular. I don't think it's complete garbage though. It does have its value and it's seeing a slight resurgence, but it is definitely not very great. Inferno Tower, I'm gonna put that a little bit above Pump, but not much higher. Outshone literally just by Tesla. It's in Drill. It's just not even very used at all. Mortar is going to be a higher average here than the Dark Goblin, but not as higher than the Archers. I think Mortar is a good card. It's not incredibly prevalent, but it is very good. And then the first absolutely busted category card that is not Goblin Drill is Tesla. Tesla's so good. Tesla's so good right now. It is the predominant building, gets infinite value. Pre-Tesla, you're good. Tesla late, you're good. Just slight protection, it's going to get you so much value. It is just outshowing every single building in the game right now. So next we have Expo. Expo is definitely below average. I think it's the best below average card that we have here, but it is definitely below average at the moment as a whole deck, as a card for sure. It's seen better days. Cannon Cart is going to be a very solid card in my opinion. I think above E-Barbs. I think it's above E-Barbs here. Very, very valuable card. It does well against most drill decks because they're all awkward. So Cannon is still below average. However, I think it is going to be higher than the Battle Ram, not as much as the Expo. It did get a recent buff. And yeah, I think it's just a decent card, but it's pretty below average based on like stats and stuff. If the Tesla does get a nerf, I think the Cannon would definitely move up into average. Balloon, I will put in average as well, above Barbarians. It's a solid win condition, but it's not doing too great, I don't think. I could be wrong on this. If it's not here, it's definitely somewhere in low A tier, but I think it is. I think it does have a place in the B tier right now. So Golem is definitely going to be A tier. It is a very, very good win condition right now. Really, really popular. It does well against drill decks because it can have Guard Prince and Bomber and all those good cards. So yeah, I think it's definitely going to be in the A tier, which obviously D tier. I think she's better than Battle Healer, but D tier, not even a question about that. Clone, going to be putting it in average below Bats. And actually, I think I'm going to move Barbarians. Just I think they're actually worse than Bats. But Clone definitely going to be in the average tier. It's got a very, very safe spot, and Clone, or excuse me, Golem, popular in Golem, not really in anything else, but I think it's a good spot. So Night Witch, so I think she's going to be the lowest S tier I put here. Night Witch is not absolutely busted, however she's busted. Her death bats combined with Golem just doing absolute work in the meta, considering Fireball is literally everywhere. Fireball bait is literally the predominant thing, or was predominant thing, and it's still the predominant spell, even though Fireball bait's kind of dead. So Night Witch is absolutely busted. She's just busted right now because of her death bats. So next card is Earthquake, going to be putting that in average, high average. I think it's better than Archers, not as good as Bandit. E-Drag going to be average as well. I think it's got a safe spot in beatdown decks. However, it is not the most amazing card. I think it's going to be right above Barbs. E-Giant, I think it is low A tier. I think it is good, and it's definitely doing well in the meta, but only in like one deck at a time, and it's still countered by quite a bit. It's very polarizing, because if you have a building, you basically win. But yeah, I think E-Giant's low A tier. E-Spirit going to be highest B tier so far. I think it is better than like a lot of cards in the B tier, but I just don't think it's worthy of the A tier quite yet. I could be wrong though. That might be a mistake because of stats. I'd have to check the stats, but I don't want to crash the video while I'm recording it. Ewiz, I think, is going to be even higher B tier because I'm pretty sure that Ewiz not used incredibly much, but like he's very good. I don't think he's as solid as some of the cards up here anymore. Actually, you know what? We'll put him in low A tier above E-Giant. I think he's a solid card. We'll give him an A tier there. I think he's a very solid card. E-Golem going to be in some garbage right ahead of Battle Healer. I think Battle Healer is the worst card so far out of all of these. Executioner below average. Actually, no, we'll give him the lowest average so far because I'm pretty sure he does well in like balloon decks and stuff. He gets some value. He's just kind of clunky. Firecracker is definitely going to be high A tier. I'm going to put her just ahead of Cannon Card. She's very, very good right now. and it is very, like, she's just really strong card right now, and synergies as well. Fireball going to be the best card so far, other than the drill. Drill would be the best card if I had it. Fireball is the fireball. It's had like a 50% use rate in the top 1,000 ladder. It's just absolutely insane. Fireball is so good right now and gets a ton of value. Goblin Hunt is going to be average. Gonna put it ahead of the clone, but not ahead of the barbarians. It's a solid spawner, and same with Furnace. We'll put it. I think it's a little bit better than Goblin Hunt. We'll put them both in the average tier. I think they're really good. Not really good. I think they're just better now. I think they had a very nice buff, and I think they're just solid cards overall. Fire Spirit going to go above. It's going to go an average above Archers. I think he's good, but even with the new rework, he's just not breaking into these higher tiers. Fisherman, I think is definitely going to be a solid A tier. Put him above Fisherman or Ewis. I think he gets a lot of value. I could be wrong on stats here, but he's just so versatile. Every season he's in the RG deck. Every season he's just really, really strong. Having the ability to control the way the game is played. He's just a really good card. Flying Machine, I'm gonna put an average here. I'm gonna put him above Mortar. Actually, we'll put him above Archers too. He's very solid. I don't know why I'm gendering Flying Machine. It's a machine, but we'll just say it's a solid card. It's very good. In like some of those Bird Spam and Fireball bait decks, which aren't as great. He would have been a very, very good A tier last season, but now he is definitely in the B tier. Freeze is going to be below average, I'd say. I think it's better than Battle Ram and better than Cannon, but it's definitely below average. Ghost is actually going to be high. I'm gonna put Ghost right ahead of Fire Spirit. Actually, no, we'll put him. I think he's a little bit better than the Dark Goblin, and I think the Balloon should probably go like right up in there. I'm just kind of screwing around with it as I go. He's very solid. Ghost is a solid card. Nothing really else to say about that. He's got the Invisible Mechanic. Cool card. Giant Skeleton, definitely still below average. We'll put him like right here. I think he's worse than the Battle Ram. Actually, no, I think he's slightly better than the Battle Ram. He's definitely a B tier or below average card though. Spear Goblins, they are going to be high B tier as well. They were really good last season, but not as much this season. They've been really broken. Goblin Barrel is going to be in some garbage. I think it's the best some garbage card out of all of them, but it's definitely in a horrific spot because of Drill. Goblin Cage, definitely a nice A tier card here. Gonna put it ahead of Cannon Cart. It's used in a lot of decks and it gets a ton of value. Goblin Gang is going to be average. I think it is decent and gets its value, and good players can really use it to their strengths, but skeletons are definitely much better or whatever. And then Goblin Giant, I'm gonna put him in. Really, he's gonna be average. I'm gonna put him ahead of Furnace and Goblin Hut. He's good in like Sparky decks and the Goblin Giant Double Prince deck, but he's not very good elsewhere. Goblins going to be in below average. I think they're better than Bomb Tower though. Graveyard going to be an average as well, kind of a lower average. I'm gonna put it ahead of Furnace and Goblin Hut though. Still a solid win condition, but it's definitely not. It's definitely seen better days. Heal Spirit, I'm gonna put in a high average here above the Flying Machine. He's good, but he's not incredibly overpowered. Hog Rider is definitely going to be a high A tier. I'm gonna put him higher than Golem. He's in so many decks though, and he's really valuable among basically Hog Earthquake, which is dominating the meta. Hunter is going to be low average. I'm going to put him ahead of Clone. He's low average. Same with Ice Golem, but I think Ice Golem's probably a bit better. Going to put him in between Furnace and Graveyard. Ice Wizard, average card. I think it's around this area too. A lot of things are just barely better than Furnace and Goblin Hut. Inferno Dragon is going to be low A tier. I think it's really solid, gets a ton of value. It's a very, very good card, but I think out of all the A tiers, it's definitely the weakest. Knight, I'm going to put low A tier. Okay, I said out of all the weakest. I think it's a low A tier. Still gets a ton of value and stuff, but it's just not very, like, it's outshone by the Valkyrie. So we're going to go ahead and put Lava Hound in, I think we're going to put Lava Hound above Furnace again. It's an average win condition. I don't think it's much better, though. Lightning is going to be high average here. We'll put it ahead of Earthquake because of E-Giant. It's used, it gets decent value. Magic Archer, again, higher average card. I think he is going to be higher than the Bandit now because he's actually found a place outside of Bridge Spam in the most recent metas. Mega Knight, I think, is going to just be a solid card. I'm going to put him above Dark Goblin. I think he's just really good at the moment. Mega Minion is interesting. I'm going to give it a low A tier. I think I'm going to put him above Knight. He does a ton of damage, and he gets a bunch of value, but I think he's kind of only an RG and stuff. He's just really valued. I think he's slightly underrated. Mine are going to be an average. I'm just gonna start throwing average cards like around where I think they are. Miner is good, but of course the drill just outshines it. Minion Horde definitely below average right now. Minions are going to be lower average, above clone, I think. Minion Horde just not getting as much value, and so are the minions. Mini Pekka low average here. We'll put him below, just above Hunter. Mirror is actually like, it's like a high below average. Like it is the best below average card that I know of. But it is like, it's just not quite breaking into average yet. Mother Witch is going to be, I'm gonna put her right here in overpowered. She's better than Light Witch, I think. She's just really, really, really good right now, turning everything into piggies. It's kind of crazy. Musketeer going to be, I think I'm going to put her above, right next to Mortar. She's not great, but she's not bad. Pekka is definitely in a high average right now. Overall, with different win conditions and stuff, it's actually doing really well in the meta. Not Pekka bridge spam, of course, but the normal Pekka, like with Ram Rider and stuff, it's doing really well. Poison I'm going to put in average as well. I think I'm going to put it around Earthquake. It's a decent card, but it's just completely outshone by Fireball. Prince is going to be high. Actually, no, because of the meta, I think he's like kind of a mid B tier. He's pretty good. Princess is not very good right now. She's not the worst below average card, but she's like right above Freeze. She's just not very good. Lumberjack, again, gonna put him at a low average. Rage is actually decent right now. I'm gonna put it like right here. Ram Rider is going to be, she's seen better days, but this is her best days in quite a while. And I think I'm actually going to move her. Earthquake should actually probably be higher because of its position within Hog EQ, which is really good. Rascals, they're going to be below average here. I think they're just right in there. Rocket's a decent spell, probably going to put it in like right there. RG is definitely going to be an A tier win condition. Gonna put him ahead of Bowler. And I think Bowler should probably be moved down a little bit. I think he's underrated as an E tier card, but not incredibly good. Hogs are really bad right now. Recruits are also, I think they're like, Hogs are like right here. Recruits, like bottom of average. They're not great. I don't think they're below average yet. Actually, no, I've been seeing a lot of Recruits players saying they're below average. We'll put them along with like the Freeze. Skeleton Barrel, probably going to be low average. Skeleton Dragons, again, I don't think they're below average yet, but they're just really not popular in anything other than lava. Skarmy is like right with minions. It gets a lot of value, but it's not as good because of like stuff like Mother Witch and stuff. So I think the skeletons are definitely high A tier, or they're, I think, not absolutely busted. So this is just like best cards. I'm not gonna say that these cards need to be balanced. These are just like the best cards. Skeletons, I don't know if they really need to be balanced, but they're just really valuable, right near Tesla and Mother Witch. Guards going to be low average. They've been finding a spot recently in some decks. Snowball, kind of a low average, with a Ice Spirit being like, I think he's like a higher average. He's used in a lot of things. Log, definitely an S tier card. I have to scroll up. Definitely an S tier card. The worst of the S tier cards, but still the most versatile spell. I think it's definitely an S tier card. 3M are going to be low average, and they're better than Bomb Tower. Worse than Goblins. Goblins at least have a little bit of space. Tombstone, again, below average. We'll put him in with the buildings. He's not very good. Tornado, I believe, I'm going to put Tornado in S tier because it may not be as strong as some cards, but like its ability to change how the game is played by pulling things to different areas of the map, I think it's really broken, and I believe it's definitely an S tier. Valkyrie, we're going to put in S tier as well. So I'm actually going to move the Dark Prince up. Now that it's not absolutely busted, I'm going to move the Dark Prince up as well. I think they're both better than Tornado, not as good as Log. I think the only reason they're not better than Log, even though they have probably better use rates and stats, is because they're only there to counter the Goblin Drill. But because of the Goblin Drill being so incredibly broken, they are definitely right there. Goblin Drill, if there was another tier called S plus or whatever, like the best card, Goblin Drill's there. It's definitely a next tier up. Wall Breakers are going to be A tier because of their usage in the Goblin Drill deck. I think they are better than E-Giant, probably better than Fisherman as well. I don't think they're better than Royal Giant though. Wizard is like below low average. Sparky's going to be in the average tier. Zappy's also an average around this area. Zap is going to be an A tier card. I think it is a low A tier. Very, very, very valuable though. Recruit or Royal Delivery, kind of a low average, still gets value, not very used though. Giant is going to be in Like, Giant's going to be higher below average. It's not very good right now, but it's still used by some good players. And the final card is going to be Arrows. And I'm going to put Arrows in A tier above, like right in between Royal Giant and Wall Breakers. They're just super versatile spell. They change a lot of interactions, and I think they are just a good card, not incredibly above average, but like above average. So that's going to wrap it up for the tier list. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next video.